You know how Capital One has that commercial and it says, "What's in your wallet?" Well, I hope it's not this. I hope it's not this. So I happened to find my old blood card, going through a old wallet, and I was like, "OMG, I can't believe it." This card here could do more damage than any credit card in your wallet. Okay, any credit card in your wallet, this card will do way more damage. So, for people who don't know, Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe in getting blood transfusions. And so this is referred to as your blood card, basically letting people know no blood, right? So I was like, I got to do a video about this because I'm so glad that I never had to use this. I'm so glad I never had to use this because I might not be here right now. Okay? Might not be here right now. So I do have my notes here, and we're going to go ahead and get into this video. So, like I said, I had found my card looking through an old wallet. I thought I had gotten rid of it, to be honest. I thought I had shredded it, but clearly I didn't. And maybe it was for that reason that I'm here doing the video. So, like I said, Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in getting blood transfusions. And so with this card, it serves as, it says power of attorney for healthcare. And then no blood. I don't want you all to see the name. No blood, with the cross out sign. And so it basically has like your name where you will print, and it's saying that this document is basically outlining, what medical procedures or anything like that, specifically blood, you're willing or not willing to. But I just want to read a couple of these sentences to you. So number 2 on this document says, I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I direct that no transfusions in big bold letters of whole blood, red cells, white cells, platelets, or plasma be given me under any circumstances, even if healthcare providers believe that such are necessary to preserve my life. I refuse to pre-donate and store my blood for later infusions. This is like, it makes me cringe that I was willing to sign this. I signed this basically a year after I got baptized. I got baptized in December of 2005, and this was signed in December, the day after Christmas, 2006. And so if you were paying attention, this could have changed my life if I had ever been in a situation where I needed any of those components, right? So let me go into a little bit. So people may say, well, you're a nurse. I wasn't a nurse at the time, right? And then also, going way back to when I was super little, I had an uncle who was like 2 years older than my dad, and he passed before I was born. And so all I would hear in the family is that he had gotten a blood transfusion, developed leukemia, and died. So from the time I was probably 3 or 4 and could even understand, English, I was like, I don't want no blood transfusion because I don't want to get no cancer. Like, that was my rationale, right? Of course, we know now, the blood donation process, is filtered, but there is still a risk that something can, you know, uh, transfer into the other person, right? But it's like with any medical procedure, any medication, anything like that, you weigh the risk and the benefit kind of thing, right? So going into getting introduced to the witnesses and knowing and learning their stance on blood transfusions with this, family background thing in the back of my head, it was kind of like, this is okay. I probably won't ever need this. There are other things that, medicine has developed, that can help you in a situation, right? So that is how I say that I was okay with filling this out, right? Because it's like, all right, this is okay. Never quite understood the scriptures that they would share, because it was talking more so, if I recall correctly, more so about like blood being in the meat of like a slaughtered animal, right? So I'm like, well, yeah, nobody's necessarily trying to do that, right? So again, if you've watched any of my other EXJW story videos, you know that I learned probably about 6, 7, 8 months in that any questions, anything that I might be curious about, I need to just nip it in the bud and go with the flow. So you have that, going on and everything. And so it's time for me to fill out my card. And I feel like I was getting harassed, right? Because I was single at the time. So just like with any other forms that I would fill out, I put my mama down, right? And it was like, no, 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 no. You can't put your mother down. And I'm like, well, why not? Oh no, you shouldn't put anybody in your family down because it'll be hard for them. And it's like, it'll be hard for them. And I'm like, well, if these is my wishes, why? And it was just like, no, you can't. And I'm like, okay. And I always thought that was a little funny. And then, they hit you with the, because they could see that I'm like kind of processing. And so then it was like, well, it's not loving to put that kind of pressure. Like they'll already be dealing with, you being in this state that, the medical professionals are saying you need blood. So something must have happened, kind of thing. Like it wouldn't be loving. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that. And it's like, basically it's better to have witnesses. Now, if you follow my other videos, you'll know who these two people are. So on my card, I have Sister Sassy and Sister Righteous. And let me just tell y'all, I know for a fact that Lord forbid if I ever needed this card to be activated, so to speak, I would have been sacrificed. I would have been out of here. Okay. They would have been like, nope, boom, and wouldn't have bat an eyelash. And so I thought I had told my mom about this a long time ago, but when I found the card the other day, and we were talking about the not putting her on here, she was like, no. And she got in her feelings and she felt the type of way, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. So with this card, with this stance, with all the things that they pressure you kind of into doing, brainwashing you into doing, I hope that people are taking away how it can change the course of your life, right? To where you're no longer here, because of a principle that could change. They're always changing new light. Never thought in a million years I would see that it's okay for men to wear a beard and be a Jehovah's Witness. Never thought I would see that it would be okay for women to wear dress slacks or what have you, pants, to the Kingdom Hall. So they even saying you can, talk to this fellowship ones now a little bit more than just, if someone died or, if they trying to come back. So who's to say this is not going to change? Who's to say this not going to change? And so when I think about this stance, this card, what it represents, I think about all the stories. I didn't necessarily know anybody personally, but I remember there was a young couple. They had a baby, in our circuit. And the woman, had some difficulties. I can't remember if it was like an emergency C-section or whatever, but she had lost quite a bit of blood. And they were trying to do all these alternatives, right? And they like, it's not working. We need to give her blood. And from what I had heard, the liaison committee, the elders, all the super righteous ones in that person's congregation basically pounced on that young man. That if basically if you give her blood, it's a wrap. Jehovah is done with you, her, and this baby, And unfortunately, she died. And she was like young. I don't even think, if I recall correctly, was 30 years old. And so, he had to raise his child, alone, I'm sure, just for a little bit of time, because I'm sure the sisters was on him. Like I said, I didn't know these people personally, but I had heard about it. I think about another situation. I knew these people personally, and a brother was in a really bad car accident. Couple of people had died, and it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I remember a good chunk of us being up at the hospital, and of course they wanted to give him blood because it was bad, y'all. It was super bad. And of course the same thing happened. You got your liaison, the elders, all the people, and they pretty much pouncing on the wife. Now, just a little side note about the wife to show you how fickle and funny JWs are. So prior to this moment, the wife, people would say, was not like, she wasn't considered super spiritually strong. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Not because she wasn't loving or nice or this or that, because she would not comment at the big meeting. And what I mean by that is at the Kingdom Hall. She would, comment when they had the book studies at the home. And she just, I think, nervousness or what have you, just wasn't comfortable doing it at the hall. So people would talk about her, right? They would be like, she ain't that strong. And, question, like, how is he able to be an elder if, his wife don't come in at the meeting, honey? Because if you don't come in at the meeting, you ain't nothing. Oh, God, just so crazy. So now we're in this moment. This man is very critical. She got the pressure of all these people. And she had to make that tough decision and say, like, no blood. Now, this is like the love of her life. Like, from my understanding, they have been together like forever. And I'm happy to say the brother did make it. And it was so interesting to me because his son, once he kind of, was out of the super critical stage, still serious or whatever, but, on the other side, the son was saying to us that when they were talking to the family about, we really need to get him blood. Like, he's not going to make it if we don't give him blood. All these alternatives y'all talking about, this is like, putting a Band-Aid on it. And it was so interesting to me because the son was like, when the doctors were saying that, he was like, fill him up. Like, that's how he was thinking, like, fill him up to the brim with the blood, And I remember thinking for the first time, looking at him like, okay, so you are human. You are human. Because at this moment, you like, F this blood card, save my daddy. And it's so crazy because after that, like I said, thank God the brother survived. Everybody it was just like, oh, like when the wife walked into the hall, because it was just like, oh, she is so righteous now. She is super strong. She held the no blood transfusion, And it's just like, people so just full of crap. I'm so glad that he didn't pass. But it's just like, that, especially for something that we all know, we done all seen it, like I just said, that could change, you know, could change by the time I get this video uploaded, okay? Tomorrow morning, could be on jw.org. Crazy. So I also think about as I was waking up and I would look at different videos, especially like the ones who I feel like are true JW like advocates, like XJW advocates, you know, who do the research, who pull the receipts and all this stuff. And I remember, can't remember who it was, but I think it was like an Awake magazine that was done in maybe the 80s or 90s, and I think on the cover, it was like all these basically kids, right? Under 18 who had stood firm for Jehovah, right? Like, and they was varying ages. It wasn't like they was just teenagers. And like having that kind of pressure on kids, having that kind of pressure on parents, and especially when you read the situations where it's like this would have pulled them through, is so disheartening. And that's why I say dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Okay, super dangerous, because you have these liaison committees who are, you know, plumbers, warehouse workers, you know, administrative work, whatever they doing. I've yet to hear of any of them being even a nurse, um, in health administration, like anything. So it's like you're taking all your medical directives for somebody who has no medical healthcare background. It's like, would you take and hold so tightly, you know, uh, you know, from a unmarried person telling you about how to have a successful marriage. Like, well, you haven't even had a successful marriage, so I don't know how credible that information, you know, would apply to me as a married person. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making the point. So I just wanted to make this video. I may not be doing just how disturbing this stance, what this card represents is. I may not be doing the best job, but I hope that nobody has to, you know, suffer because of this card. You know, um, matter of fact, like I was just looking at it, like I say, already tripping on the fact that I end up agreeing to let these two people be, it says healthcare agent, alternative healthcare agent. It's hilarious that I would let people I had known at this point, maybe 2, 3 years, compared to my mama, my daddy, you know, my grandma, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, you know, heck, my best friend, who's been my best friend since I was 19. So it's moments like this where I have to, you know, wind myself back and forgive myself for poor choices that I made in my lifetime. And, you know, being a JW, agreeing to all their terms and conditions, I have moved on from that. But sometimes, especially since starting this channel, it makes you kind of have to sit back in those feelings and emotions. But it's all good. It's all good. That's why I'm here doing this video, because maybe somebody is struggling. Maybe somebody is out, but maybe they still got this card in their wallet, right? And maybe this is the video to make them say, I need to take this out ASAP. And also, when you take this out, make sure you update your portal, you know, your for your doctor's office. And that was another thing I did. I updated because I don't want that to still be there. And then something happens and they like, oh, well, her record says she a JW. We can't give her no blood. And our precious time is wasting, you know? So, yeah. And then just real quick, and then I'm going to end this. I'm looking at like statement of witnesses. And what's so funny, y'all? I know I said I was going to end this, but what's so funny? So it's like you got the absolute no transfer, right? But then, and I guess this was an updated version by the time I came around, where it was like, you could say, I may be willing to accept minor blood fractions, depending on what you say. And it was like every one of those is where I initial, like, yeah, give me as much as you can, doc. Give me as much as you can to help save my life, just crazy. And then the people who witnessed this, again, not healthcare professionals, right? One has worked in warehouses, I think, most of his adult life, and the other one is electricians. And I foolishly put my life in the hands of a warehouse worker, manager, electrician, a loan officer, and a retired government worker. Like, now, if somebody told you that, you'd be like, oh, you crazy. Why would you do that? Why didn't you put a doctor, nurse practitioner, a nurse, hell, a CNA, anybody? But those folks. So that's just what I wanted to talk about on this video. This infamous blood card. I'm gonna keep this as a reminder. I'm gonna keep this. I thought about shredding it. I'll keep it. But I probably need to put some kind of disclaimer. I mean, obviously, I don't keep this in my wallet. But just in case, you never know, put a disclaimer like keeping to remind me to never get food again. Okay? Well, y'all, that is all, and I am out. Peace.